Hello, my name is Shamaria Wiseman, also known as Maria Knows Best, and I'm here with my host, Kenny or another What's the Word podcast video that will be obviously sports related because when you see me, it's gonna be sports related. We have a lot of topics to dig into, and we also have a tier list that we will do at the end of this video.
And we also got my
So,
homeboy TK.
oh, I'm
Is it?
sorry, TK is also here, special guest TK. This is the first time I've seen him on the sports side of What's the Word podcast. But
Yo,
yeah, we got TK at the bottom. Go
hey,
ahead.
how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Just blessed to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
For sure, man.
Of
Thank,
course,
thank you for pulling up at the last second. You know what
Of
I'm saying?
course, of course.
right, of course. So we're gonna get right into the topics. Our first topic is women's college basketball.
Yes.
And all the glory and praise and negativity that it has been receiving the past couple of weeks. We just had the Elite Eight um end, and we saw Angel Reese in LSU versus Caitlin Clark in Iowa go to war. And the end result ended up being Caitlin Clark coming out with the dub. Did y'all expect Iowa to win and be as great as they were in that game?
I'm gonna be real with you. As I said it once to my older sister, I'm gonna say it to y'all again. The only way Caitlin Clark was gonna come out that game victorious is unless she scored 40 points. Nothing more, nothing less. If she would have scored 20, she would have lost. Unfortunately, this was a revenge game for her. If she would have lost this would have it wouldn't have lost momentum, but it definitely would have put more salt on the wound. But Caitlin Clark, sure enough, stitched that motherfucker up. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but at the same time, it's like, bro, you go out there and you do that to the defending women's champions, 40 points, 12 assists. Not only did you score 40 points, but you managed to get your team involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they saw her rolling, everybody else was rolling. I'm a LSU fan, and I'm gonna be honest. We got our asses whooped. We got our asses whooped, and it's just that simple. There's no complaining about it. Come back next year and get y'all's title back. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. So, congratulations to Iowa. And for everybody who's just tuning in, this is a sports related podcast. The music podcasts are usually on Sundays. So, we're going to get back to that. We took a lot of days off because we were going through a lot of shit. But now we're actually back and we're going to get more consistent. So, this is what I have to say about the whole LSU and Iowa thing. Kendall Clark, she had a hell of a game. That Haley girl, I'm not gonna lie, she was mid. She was mid.
She was mid.
She was mid. What up, Oak?
Going on?
So we're talking about the LSU and Iowa game. So I'm just giving my reaction to it. So no, the Haley girl's mid, and she played really bad, and I just thought she wasn't good all season. But I will also say this about the whole Angel Reese thing. Y'all get on this girl for crying because this is her arguably last game of college basketball. And it's like y'all are calling her soft because she gave everything she had on the court for damn near 2 seasons that she's been at LSU. But the thing is, y'all don't do the same thing for men. Y'all didn't do this when Joel Embiid cried against Toronto. Y'all didn't get on his ass, but y'all gonna get on Kevin Clark's ass because she's a villain
Mm,
to y'all.
mm.
Like, bro, she gave it everything she had on the court. Like, she's human. She can show emotions. So it's like, who are y'all reporters to come out there and say, "Oh, she's soft," and saying, "Oh, she can't play, she can't cry because she's the villain." Bro, she's human. Like,
Can I
come on, man.
interject on this, Kenny?
Go ahead.
How old is Angel Reese again? This is she like
I don't
20,
know.
20, 2021?
21,
She
2021.
21.
So y'all are so let me get this straight to all of you analysts. You grown men are out here attacking a young 21-year-old girl
Talk about
who
it.
has who has just played her last game in college football. Now,
Basketball.
her best last game in basketball. My apologies. I just got through talking football. I apologize. But she just got through playing her last basketball game in the Elite Eight. Now, if you know basketball like either one of us knows it, you know that's equivalent to a playoff game. It's a playoff game. You're going real deep. And as we all know, the deeper you go into a tournament or the playoff, the more the losses hurt. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, the more the losses hurt. And especially when you face your rival, who you beat last year in the national championship. So for everybody who's saying, well, she was the villain, she was this, number one, y'all made her the damn villain. Taunting the damn girl, acting like that she couldn't do the you can't see me. When Caitlin Clark did the same damn thing. Number one. That's the thing. You know, I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, I hate to quote rappers, but it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Fuck them.
So my thing is, y'all made her the villain. So don't talk about how, oh, you chose to become a villain. She didn't choose that role. You made that role, and she embraced it. And my thing is, if you could justify a young lady getting death threats and getting sexualized as a man, as a reporter, you need to go somewhere. You need to quit reporting. And that is why the world no longer trusts the media at this point. And they're looking at content creators like us in order to follow the news, because you're creating narratives that don't need to be created. Number one, this was the most highest rated women's basketball game of all time. This game got more ratings than the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
And you're over here attacking the young lady that played a part in this game happening? Are you serious right now?
Let's also not forget that you got some of these. I'm trying to work on myself. You got some of these people, these men, these grown men. They don't even watch the game.
Yes,
comment warriors, bro.
Yes.
Had this been Caitlin, and I hate to bring it like this. Had it been Caitlin Clark, you wouldn't have gotten this much hate from Angel Reese. You know what's crazy? She lost this game and still getting money and getting a bag. She can cry, she can do whatever, but at the end of the day, she finna make triple of what she's already making with that WNBA stuff, with endorsement deals and stuff. So
it's her last game.
She may have lost that game, but she's winning in life. And it seems like, you know, people were preying on her downfall. Bad. I wanted her to win. And then you had some people sit there and be like, oh, well, she's not a good basketball player. She's the worst ever and all this other stuff. I guarantee you, if she was in your face, you wouldn't have the same energy. The energy wouldn't be the same. So with that, I wouldn't even listen to them, because there are people behind the screen that don't do nothing, and there are people below me. That's how I would look at it. But you know,
you shouldn't have the same energy. She's a young lady, man.
Exactly.
And my thing is, she's a young lady, and I'm not saying that would be misogynistic, but she's a young lady. She's a young lady. She's barely out of her damn teens, and you're attacking her like that. She's barely out of her damn teens. And you have grown men. And you have grown men twice my damn age out here attacking her. You guys are grown ass men. So act like it. Would you want someone attacking your daughter after she played in her last game? Hell no.
They'd be ready to go to war behind their daughter.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I mean, if I had a daughter, let somebody come out there and attack her. Hey, you can say whatever you want to. I'm 6'1", 300 pounds. So, hey, if you want to bring it, bring it. And I'm pretty sure any parent would feel like that. At the end of the day, some of these reporters got to realize, number one, your parents. Would you want somebody else attacking your child like that? Number two, you're grown-ass men. It's a male-dominated sport. No offense, Mario, but let's just tell the truth. It's a male-dominated league when it comes to sports reporting. Number three, half of you don't even watch the damn game in the first place.
Exactly.
Because if you knew what the story was, the real story here should have been, this game was rated higher than the NBA Finals. That's the real damn story here, people.
But nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about that. And that's right. And not only that, it's ranked higher than the damn Game 7 in the World Series. It has twice as many ratings as the World Series. So you had two of the premier games that come on during the year that everybody's looking forward to, the NBA Finals and the World Series, this women's basketball game out outrated that. And the story that you're trying to create is about this young lady who just played her last game, who's crying, but you're saying, oh yeah, she shouldn't embrace being a, it's her last game. And guess what? We've had a lot of players who embraced that villain role that was not necessarily their choice. You gave her that role. You pushed that role on her. They embraced it and they did it. So guess what? It's her right to cry.
Gotcha.
She's a young lady. She can't. It's her last game. It's equivalent. Her life would never be the same after this day. Her life would never be the same because you're going to a league where there's a lot of other elements in this next league that's not in college. You're no longer in college hanging out with your friends. Now it's more so about money now. Now it's about the endorsements. Now it's about the business. So guess what? You're leaving that comfortable environment. Now you're going to another one. And their last hurrah is you're sitting over here acting like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have been embraced the villain. Come on, man. You guys are grown men. You have daughters. Show some damn respect. Oh, excuse me. Show some doggone respect and have some respect for the young lady. And stop being idiots about everything that you report on.
Okay, so I really wanted to show y'all this clip also. So of this dude, I don't know what his name is, but
he used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals, bro.
Okay.
Going to drop 41 against Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey, one of the greatest women's coaches of the generation. If you're going to say she's going to drop 41 with Fauger on the court, with Van Leith on the court, with Angel Reese on the court, I would have been like, nah, I don't see it. But I mean, because last year she did play well, but she had 30 and 8.
But as you sit here today, are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but I am like, that shouldn't have happened. I am like, that shouldn't have happened.
And I would say, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised how she controlled the game. Like, they was winning at halftime. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, right? I see a team that has way more talent, right? They throwing the ball on the post, they get easy buckets. When I see Kate making hard shots. At third quarter, he rolled off. I said, yo, she's controlling the game. And I was surprised to see that how she dominated them girls from LSU.
I'm trying to go to the part where the dude in the
easily
paint
a better
said
team.
about
Easy
injuries.
better team.
And she dominated them girls.
She did. And early on, we did see her struggle. Yeah. Like early on, that's when I was like, oh, this might kind of cry like.
Okay.
I felt some type of way about that. I felt some type of way. And here's what I am about to do. I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did, post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people, get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody more.
Okay, first and foremost, let me say this to somebody who actually played basketball, someone who actually, seen like motherfuckers play basketball in college, go to like tournaments, you know what I'm saying? Go far, period, when it comes to basketball. Bro, if you go far when you play basketball and you lose, or when it comes to any sport in general, you're going to cry because you work your ass off to get to that position. And for you to just lose like that, you mean to tell me you wouldn't cry? I bet you play sports your whole life. And you mean to tell me you ain't gonna cry over a game that was important?
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. There's been times where, because I play every sport growing up. You feel me? I did everything basically, and let's say for football. And as a kid growing up, I played some of my closest games, and there be times where I myself, I would be overwhelmed. Sometimes it's just like, fam, I done did all this work and then we lost, and it'd be the closest games, and I just cry because.
But TK, this is my problem that I have with reporters, bro.
They act
you are an athlete and you've been through this shit before, bro.
Right, I feel
like you played ball, you play football, you play basketball, you play baseball, you played all these sports. You work your ass off to get in this position, and you mean to tell me you not gonna cry if y'all didn't make it?
I am.
Like I can understand, like You know what I'm saying? You was a professional.
Especially what I all went through to get to this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, all you mean to tell me I went through all this for me to just lose? Yeah, I'm gonna cry because it's just like, fam, like now I gotta not necessarily wait, but now I have to sit there and work twice as hard. Not me complaining about it. Now I have to work twice as hard to make sure I get over that hump. And I feel like a lot of people that never played the sport but want to criticize a lot of people, they don't understand that. Like when you working your ass off and you doing everything, you're pushing all the blood, sweat, and tears that you're going through every day at practice, training, whatever you're doing. For you to just come up short, of course, people are going to cry. So for people to act like, you know what I'm saying, it,
And
it's
one more thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
you
TK.
good.
Why did y'all never get on Joel Embiid when he lost his playoff series and
I'm
started
telling
crying?
you.
Why didn't y'all never get on Joel Embiid? Why? I don't get it. Like you get on Angel, are you getting on Angel Reese because she's a woman? What's the problem?
And they want to cover it up with this villain role. They want to cover that up. That's the only backup. Well, she wanted to be the villain. Are y'all for real?
Y'all made her. That's the thing. That's the thing. What y'all are not understanding. The media made her the villain. Y'all, she didn't want to be this villain. Y'all made her the villain. So don't blame that shit on Angel Reese. Blame that on you.
You're
Exactly.
not only that, you're televising damn near every move, trying to criticize the shit. Excuse me, my bad.
No, you can
You're
curse.
criticizing her every move. She can't even wear her crown because you're sitting around here criticizing that. Remember when she left the crown on the seat when she went to go do warm-ups? And not to mention, and I don't know if y'all brought this up or not, they was out there criticizing them. They wasn't present for the anthem. I mean, how far are we going to go with this stuff already? And the coach had to come out and let them know we've been doing this all year long. We've been doing this all year long. We get away from the court 12 minutes before introduction. So they're trying to bring in the anthem on there. Now, y'all have literally done everything y'all could do in order to criticize this LSU team.
They
When,
tried.
like I said, the story should be this. And I don't think this has ever happened before. In elite, not the national championship game, not the Final Four game, but in Elite Eight basketball game for women's basketball, outrated the NBA Finals and the World Series. That should be the story. Instead, all of these media members come out with all this stupid clickbait in order to try to bait certain guys. And credit to them, you are not, these reporters are not dumb people. You guys went to Harvard, Yale, Columbia. You guys are intelligent. So guess what? You're trying to sell papers and sell sports with clickbait when the story is already there. You have the female version of Bird and Magic already there. You have the highest rated game in NC2A women's history that outrated the NBA Finals already there. There's your story right there. Instead, you're using clickbait in order to
And
sell
again,
stories, which you don't have to.
half of these people have just been reporters. Some of these people have been just first time reporters on sports. And they go based off of what, and that's another thing with the media. A lot of the media goes based off of what everybody else says and not their own logic. They go based off what everybody else says. And it's like I see that a lot because you have one article will say the exact same thing as the next article. Let's say TMZ, right? They go based off of what Bleacher Report says, right? But why don't you go based off of what they have said to you? If you going up to the person and interviewing them, let's say I interview Kenny, right? He tells me everything behind the story, cool. But then I turn around and listen what Bleacher Report got to say, and then I type it in and post it on Instagram. That's weird. It's weird. These social media apps are weird. When are we going to
Hey,
realize that?
TK, when is the last time, I have to ask every last one of y'all this, and I'm probably the oldest member right here. When is the last time y'all heard about a women's basketball game in the Elite Eight, no less, outrating the NBA
You
Finals?
never heard it.
Hold
And
on,
I
hold
think,
on.
and I,
Can I address this comment? Crazy Shot Josh said nobody wants to hear the truth. Entertainment sales.
I mean, that's what it's starting to look like. He ain't lying.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree.
And that's
But
why
it's
the
a,
media, and that is why I will say this, and I've had this conversation with Shot the PSP a couple weeks ago. That is why you're hearing, and I think we had this conversation in the pod, Kenny and Mario. That is why a lot of content creators like ourselves are becoming bigger than the media, because we're gonna tell the damn truth. They just want to sell. They just want to deal with clickbait all the time. And I mean, and that goes from the big reporters to the small ones. I mean, and like I said, the story's already there. When was the last time that we seen a college basketball game with two of the greatest players being women, and they outranked the NBA Finals with the NBA MVP, with arguably the best player in the NBA today with Jokic at the helm? When the last time we've seen that? That's the story within itself. The last time that happened was with Magic and Bird. You have the story right there. But instead, you rather sell this villain role of this young girl crying and saying that, oh yeah, you shouldn't have played the role of the villain, when the real story should be that this game outranked the NBA Finals, and not only that, the World Series. That is the real story. But instead, you rather sell clickbait. I'm confused.
Listen, you want to know what's crazy?
Maria,
What's up?
say what you gotta say.
Okay. Yeah, I was waiting for y'all to get off. I'm gonna be honest. All yesterday I was on Twitter, arguing with people about the whole Angel Reese situation. Uh, being a black woman and seeing a black woman of her statue get criticized the way she did obviously makes you feel some type of way. But one thing that I appreciated the most was that a lot of the black women, and put an emphasis on them, they attacked him like he was nothing. Taylor Rooks she typed in a long message basically responding to what he said, and she did it so professionally. It was just a nice read, and it like the fact that all the women in the journalism field, all the black women in the journalism field, like teamed up basically that day to defend one of they to defend us to defend a sister. That's something that I love to see, and I don't care. We do have female journalists, women journalists in the game, but I want to see more and more. I want to see so many, to the point where every time you turn on the channel, you see a woman on something. You see two or three women on these channels at once. Like that's the level. That's how I like. That's what I want to see. Um, but in the midst of all that controversy of her being talked about and bashed the way she was, that girl came out and declared for the draft through a Vogue article. Amidst all that controversial, she dropped that like when nobody talking about her. She like whoever she got in her corner, they they protecting her, because that was, first of all, that was a boss move. That's one of the most iconic ways we done ever heard somebody probably declare for any type of draft ever. So I'm just, I was like I said, I was on there defending her like she was my best friend, and I'm gonna always do that when it comes to Angel Reese, because I do feel like that she is mistreated in terms of how the media sees her, and and even though I don't want to more so blame Caitlin Clark, I do wish there are some things that I feel like Caitlin Clark could come out and say that she just don't say. Like, we had Paige Beckers come on national TV on the ESPYs and sit there and basically say, y'all need to start giving these black athletes the same attention that you give all these other athletes. And I kind of wish that Caitlin Clark would make some type of comment on that. But I'm not gonna blame her for her fan base, because at the end of the day, these are grown people, and stuff like that. But I just wish Caitlyn could say something. But yeah, like Angel, her head is high. They said, that crown might get heavy, but she's strong enough to carry it. If ain't nobody else is, she is. So
Angel
I'm
Reese
gonna
is
give
your
her.
I'll say this.
Angel Reese is your twin, Maria. Well, go ahead, TK.
I'm gonna say this. Ain't nobody have Angel Reese back like Flage did.
That's true.
Ain't nobody have
Who's Flage?
Flage
Her
Johnson.
teammate.
Not Big Johnson.
Oh yeah, okay.
Ain't nobody have her back like she did. And I'm gonna tell you what, she finna have a hell of a season next year, and watch for it. Because if y'all didn't think she was vocal this year, Wait till whenever, because now the way I took from Angel Reese declaring from the draft, they talk. They talk. They're best friends. She probably told her straight up, "This is your team. Go get it back." And I would have took that, and I would have been like, "I got you, sis. I want all the attention now." And she's gonna get it
Cheers.
now. As far as the coaching, Kim Oki, go in that portal, get whoever you gotta get.
Mhm.
Get whoever you gotta get. But I don't know if y'all are familiar. I didn't get a chance to say this. Y'all know who Alexis Morris is? By
Mm-hmm.
chance, the girl that that necessarily locked up Caitlin Clark, as she said. I went on her live, and I do it every time LSU plays. And she wants to actually be an assistant coach for the team, which I think would be pretty cool. But in her terms, she said, if I'm a coach, I'm getting a point guard that's from the hood to go to guard somebody like Caitlin Clark and change the whole program around. Because if I do remember, whenever she went against Iowa, she single handedly was the one taking responsibility of Caitlin Clark. And I think that's what LSU needs. They need that strong point guard that's going to lead them to where they need to go. Now that they just lost a big, you need a big again. So all the bench players that's on LSU,
Mm-hmm.
y'all gotta step up.
They
Well,
do.
I have a question. So when Kayla Clark put her finger up, she did that first before Angel Reese, right?
Oh,
Yes.
you talking about the whole Tony Ayo thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did that first, and she even came out and said she did that first last year after that loss because she had to come out and say that. The thing was, she was like, "Yeah, I did that first. Why y'all attacking her?" She even said it. So my thing is, hey, like I said earlier, it's cool when you do it. It's a problem when somebody else is doing it. I mean, you can't get mad when you know America's sweetheart loses. I'm just being honest with you about it. I mean, everybody loves Caitlin Clark, and I will give them that. And she's a hell of a basketball player. That was not the light. But the thing is this: don't criticize nobody, no matter what it is, for doing the same thing that somebody else does. Oh yeah, you can't see me. Everybody throwing up the John Cena, aka Tony Ayo. I mean, if y'all know who that is. But don't criticize one person for saying it, for doing it, and then when they lose, and somebody goes to find them and does the same thing, all of a sudden, well, you didn't have to go hunt. No, that's not the story right now. They lost. Okay. If you can dish it out, you can take it. Hey, I'm going to just be real. Hey, even Warren Sapp said this. If I had lost that Super Bowl, knowing how much I talk trash and knowing how much I do this, guess what? I would have had to eat it if they would have came in my face and told me something the very next day in during that press conference. So guess what? When you lose, okay, cool. Don't make a big deal out of it because the player. If you ever notice, the only people who make a big deal about it is the media. The players ain't did anything. It's always the media. It's never the
Oh,
players. They've even come out and said we like best friends off the court, but on that court, hey, we made it clear. I don't like you when we on that court. It's about my team members. Hell, we saw Kobe do that to Gasol in the Olympics. I mean, anybody watch that Redeem Team documentary?
He
I
ran
mean,
straight through Paul.
I did.
He ran straight through Paul Gasol and told him, "Here, I get up. Let's go."
yeah, and that was his teammate on the Los Angeles Lakers. But when he went to the Olympics, we're not teammates. You're my enemy at this point. So guess what? If he can do that, then guess what? Imagine what happens when you're on opposite teams. Think about it. But like I said, it's never the players creating these narratives. It's always the media with the clickbait.
Right. Okay.
Uh, what's the next time, Maria?
Okay, Skangle, what do y'all want to compare the players? Because I know we talked about doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we're going so there's been a lot of talk going around, Paige Becker, sorry, and her being a better player, all around player than Caitlin Clark. Same with Juju, and we got some other players in the college hoops that are just more complete than Caitlin Clark. Do y'all agree with the Do y'all agree with the people who say that Paige Beckers is a more complete basketball player than Caitlin Clark, or do you think Caitlin Clark's offense just outweighs everything?
You need defense.
Um, I'm gonna say this: you need defense, but at the same time, defense don't sell tickets. I mean, I'm just gonna be real. People don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Hey, and this is coming from a defensive player when I was in school. Defense is good, but I ain't never heard a person either you name the sport that comes out and say, I'm here to see that great defense. The last defense that I ever heard somebody say that they're coming out in order to see was the Legion of Boom. And that was very, very short lived. And when I was a child, I mean, remember, we go all the way back to the 85 Bears. But I mean, that was even before my time. But you don't hear guys, we don't hear the casual fan, I would say, the casual fan saying that we're going out here to see defense. They coming out here to see some scoring. So, I mean, Caitlin Clark is arguably the most box office player in college basketball right now. And she does play decent defense. I mean, it may not be that stifling defense that you're looking for, but guess what? It's still good defense nevertheless.
Right. Um. Well, I'm gonna say that there are a lot of college basketball players that are more complete than Caitlin Clark. Again, people want to discredit Paige, but we all need to realize if Paige had a full healthy 4 years, it wouldn't be about Caitlin Clark. It would be about Paige,
It would.
and that's just the truth. And on that note, that's all I have to say. And anybody else want to take over, they can. By the way, the next four people that are gonna stand out is gonna be Paige, Juju, Malaysia, and Flage. They're gonna be the ones that carry this whole thing.
Good names.
Stand on it.
Okay.
I will say. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Do you think being a more like do you agree with the people saying that Paige is a more complete player than Caitlin Clark overrides, Caitlin's offense, whatever?
Um, I don't know. To me, it could kind of go both ways depending on your impact of the game. I do feel like Paige is more the complete player, and I do feel like if Paige never gets hurt, we'll be talking about Paige more than we're talking about Caitlin Clark because Paige does have the more complete game. And the only reason why Caitlin Clark is really, to me, the only reason why she's kind of like standing up right now is because she's basically like a female version of Steph Curry. That's the only reason why Caitlin Clark is showing up. She's amazing, don't get me wrong, but still, the only reason why she's getting noticed is because she plays just like Steph Curry.
And I think that, to be honest, I think Paige being out that year and having them injuries really boosted Caitlin's uh Caitlin's name.
Because
So
I will say this: I feel like Juju is a better basketball player than Caitlin Clark. I really do believe that.
I don't,
I really believe
but
Juju is better.
It's not crazy to say.
I feel like
Juju, she just too easy.
Juju has the potential to be the greatest college women's basketball player of all time. She has. She does.
It's a hot take. But I'm not
That's a
gonna
hot
put
take.
nothing past I'm not gonna put nothing past Juju because, like I said in my live, her freshman year is basically what
She
I can
finished.
go by. So if I go by what she did her freshman year, and I don't see where she can't improve in certain areas because, like I said, is
She
she's
has
on
it
senior
all.
year. She does, but I just obviously there's a few things that she needs to tweak, like her
Mm,
shot selection, not that great.
yep,
She need
I
to be
agree.
more efficient.
Hmm.
Uh, I think she got better handles than Caitlin Clark. She a better defender than Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
Her playmaking isn't really
It's not elite yet.
it's
It's
not
not elite.
elite.
It's
So
not elite.
that's like one area she need to work. And I mean this summer she need to work at her playmaking.
I
And
will
that
Hey,
could
also.
be because she don't got a playmake on her team because she do play with like another guard, another point guard. If I'm not, I don't know if Juju is shooting guard or if she a point guard, but I
But
know she
yeah,
plays
go
with
ahead.
another guard that's really good.
Hey sis, do you think that she can be just as good as Cheryl Miller was for the USC Trojans?
Cheryl Miller was a dog.
I will get into this though. I will say this about Juju. I feel because people have to understand, like UConn has been a dominant program for years, and the reason why I feel like Juju can be better than Paige Becker is for one, bro. She's reviving a program that hasn't been relevant since the '90s. Like USC hasn't been relevant for a long ass time.
Since Love and Basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Love and basketball, bro. Champ was born. Like he was damn near 5 or 6 when that came out.
No, I was 13 when that damn movie came out.
He was
13.
13.
I was 13.
Right. He was 13 when that movie came
Damn,
out.
I was still doing I was still doing martial arts when that movie came out, bro.
Listen,
I
seen a thing where it said that Juju is this year's version of Monica Wright, and I couldn't agree more.
But that's what I'm saying, like, bro. You know how long it was since USC has been relevant. Now more players are gonna go to USC and try to revive USC as a program.
But Kenny,
that movie came out in 2000. Yeah, I was 13 when that came out.
On 2000,
I said this on Maria's thing in the live. I said, I don't know about y'all, but for some odd reason, I think she might hit the portal. Not this year, Juju. She might. Not this year. Not this year coming up. Not this season. But that next season, she might hit the portal.
But I will say this. I feel like if USC actually gets talent, then if they go far, then I feel like she'll stay. If she doesn't,
right? No, she might stay, and I hope she does. It wouldn't surprise me if she would have hit that portal though.
No, yeah, definitely.
I mean, what does she go? What does she end up going? What if she ends up going to South Carolina?
Oh shit!
Think about it.
Hey, let me ask you this: do you guys think, when it comes to like freshmen, like, do you think like Juju and Brianna Stewart are like in the same category, like freshman wise?
Close, I would say.
And we had this argument in the chat, and I don't know if you guys were looking at the argument. I say the reason why Brianna Stewart was so successful is because, for one, people got to understand UConn was a dominant program for a long time. Like UConn women's basketball was very, very dominant. And for Brianna Stewart to actually come into the environment, like that evolved them more and more and more, because UConn gets elite talent. So the more talent you're going to get, the more you're going to win. And Brianna Stewart went into a great situation, and she succeeded off it. Juju went to a program where the USC hasn't been relevant for years, and she's revived. And they went to the Elite Eight in her first year.
Yeah,
to me, that's more impressive than going to a program that's been, you know what I'm saying, established.
And my thing is, if you really, really think about it, not only has USC never been relevant, if you really, really think about it, when it comes to basketball, I would say basketball alone, they've always taken a backseat ride to UCLA. If you really, really think about it.
They have.
Oh, my bad, Mario. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
You're fine. Me personally, y'all was talking about Juju transferring earlier. In my opinion, I have a gut feeling, it probably won't last that long, that the WNBA gonna decide to change their rule with that 4-year thing. I think Juju could end up being that player that make the WNBA decide to change it. Because I think she should. I think one more year and she damn near league ready. But then she had to stay 2 more years due to them having to go all 4 years, or having to wait till they age 21 to go pro, which is ridiculous to me. But it is what it is.
Go ahead. My bad.
But yeah, Juju. I see, like, I'm iffy on that Juju versus Brianna thing, because I think Brianna is the greatest women collegiate hooper ever. her and Maya Moore, they 1A, 1B. And I know I'm forgetting Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, them greats, but them two like 1A, 1B for me. I know that they basically went to well established schools. They went and like but I just freshman year I just gotta go those two. I
I
got to.
I was like, I understand it, but it's like, bro, UConn is so freaking established. So it's like, I don't know. That's just me though. Like
I
they
get what you're saying.
they're too much of a dominant program. They get so much of the
Yeah,
talent. So
they
it's
do.
like, I don't know. To me personally, I just feel like that's kind of hard to like rank them. Like Juju's going to a situation that's way different compared to Breonna Stewart and what's the name, Maya Moore. It's the same thing with I don't want to I'll bring football in this. So it's like the same thing with Cam Newton. Auburn hasn't been relevant. I don't know when was the last time Auburn won a championship champ.
Since Cam Newton.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying no, that's what I'm saying when I brought up Cam Newton. Auburn hasn't been when Cam Newton went to Auburn. When was the last time Auburn won a championship with Cameron Rod?
to be honest with you, they were. Here's what happened. They were close back in 2004. In fact, they went undefeated in 2004. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize that. And they had one of the best backfields you ever want to see with Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown. They went undefeated that year, and it was supposed to be them versus USC in the national championship, but they lost the coin flip,
Yeah.
and they end up not going to the national championship. But after that, it was a lot of years where that team was in obscurity. And I know that because my best friend, he and I hate to use this word on a podcast, but it's the truth. He literally boycotted college football for almost 6 years because
Wow.
of that. Yeah. No, I called him when I was overseas asking him did he watch college football. I got deployed in 2008 when I was in the Army. I said, "Hey, bro, have you watched college football this year, man?" He said, "Man, after Auburn, after they cheated Auburn after they cheated Auburn out of that national championship that should have been them versus USC, I boycotted college basketball. I boycotted college football." I was like, "Damn!" I'm like, "I don't know how you did that for 4 years. I couldn't imagine not watching college football."
But no, back to my point. It's kind of like Cam reviving Auburn because Auburn hasn't been relevant, like Champ says, since 2004. And Juju is basically reviving USC. You know what I'm saying? Cam Newton brought them a national champion. So if Juju can do the same thing, I would have to put her in the GOAT category or top one, top two, or top three. You know, because you're reviving a program that hasn't been relevant for a long ass time. But go ahead. Why everybody go mute?
Well, don't all go at once.
No,
Light skin.
look, I'm. What's good?
Yeah.
What's good? What's good, man? What's good?
Hello.
Well, hey
Hey,
man.
Mario.
So light
Look,
skin.
casual.
So I need
What's up?
your So what's your thoughts on the whole Angel Reese crying, after losing? Because I'm pretty sure you played basketball. I'm pretty sure you played sports. So
Hmm.
what's your thoughts on an athlete just showing their emotions after losing the game?
I think it happened. It happens throughout basketball history. Even in the NBA, some of the toughest men that people love to cape for throughout NBA history, they have been seen visually emotional after certain games. So I don't see a problem with it. I think the problem that people have with Angel Reese showing emotions or sort of wearing a heart on her sleeve in the sense of showing how much impact the social media world has had on her mentally and emotionally. I think people are looking at it from the standpoint of, well, whenever you were up, you know what I'm saying, when LSU was winning and they beat Caitlin Clark in Iowa, she had no hesitancy for her to, showboat and brag. But now that she's losing, she's on the losing end. Now she's more emotional, and she's not as cocky as she was last year. And to that, I say, well, how did you feel about Stephen Curry? When Stephen Curry was dominating in 2015, And during the entire 2016 run, when they were going 73-9, they literally had cupcakes of the Cavaliers in the Cavaliers locker room. They even said, quote, I can still smell the champagne in this locker room as they went to blow out the Cavaliers. And then backdoor in that NBA Finals, they got 3-1. They had a 3-1 lead, blew that 3-1 lead, and then Stephen Curry in the press conference was shown visually emotional. So how did you feel about that? How did you feel about Kevin Durant when he was up in the majority of the series when he was in the Warriors uniform, and then he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, and after losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, and granted he played phenomenal, but he lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, and he looked visually emotional. Like these things are like they happen, and I feel like people need to stop picking and choosing who they want to shortchange at, because it wasn't like Angel Reese did not play well. Angel Reese played phenomenal. She played phenomenal in that game. It was just she went up against the best player in the world in Caitlin Clark, and there's no shame in losing to Caitlin Clark at all.
But Maria.
Okay, so we gonna switch the topic to football.
The champ, this is for you, man.
All right. The champ is here.
Football. So obviously, so we know about the trade that happened with the Buffalo Bills, with Stephon Diggs going to the Houston Texans. What were y'all thoughts when the news broke? Because I'm happy. I was excited as hell.
They're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It's to me, it's between them or the Chiefs. I'm not trying to like overreact to anything like that, but this team is complete. This team is complete, especially on the offensive side and the defensive side. For them adding Danielle Hunter, and then they got Will Anderson, I believe, is that his name?
Yeah, Will Anderson from University of Alabama.
Yeah,
Alabama. Talking country hell. Go ahead.
Man, so no, that team is going to be a lead in the playoffs. So like, I feel like the teams that they should be worried about, because Buffalo is officially out the picture now. So it's the Ravens and the Chiefs, and also the Bengals too, because you know what I'm saying, you still got Joe Burrow and you still got Jamar Chase and the boys. So I feel like the Texans can make it far in the playoffs. Well, go ahead, Jim.
Hey, here's what I'm anxious to see. Because this is the second time Stephon Diggs has been traded.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody notice that? And the last time you got traded, they upgraded. Let's be real about it. Last time you got traded, they upgraded and got Justin Jefferson. And you haven't heard a word out of Justin Jefferson the entire time. Only thing he did was play. You haven't heard a word out of it, other than when he was trying to campaign in order to bring Kirk Cousins back. So my thing is this is not only a good trade, but this is a telltale moment for Stephon Diggs. Is it about winning or you getting the ball? Because here, you don't have to be the man. You have Tank Dell, you have Nico Collins, you have Dalton Schultz, and you have John Mechie. He's coming back. So you don't necessarily have to be the man like you were in Buffalo, where you're double team and sometimes triple team in zone coverage, and they're trying to force target you because they know none of the other men can make plays. So this is going to be a telltale moment of how you're going to react. If we get to the middle of the season and you have only 500 yards and Tank Dell is out there balling, but yet y'all are 8-0 at this point, how are you going to react? Are you going to react good because you're winning, or are you going to start complaining and be another TO because you're not getting the ball? That's what's going to be the biggest story this season, because at the end of the day, this offense had a lot of continuity with the players that were already there. CJ Stroud was already an MVP candidate without you there already. So it's not a situation where you're going to be the savior for a quarterback. much like you were with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a telltale moment when you come into this team and they're spreading the ball around and they're doing everything the right way and they're winning games and they're reeling off games and they're getting to that division title, but you don't have as many targets and as many catches as you did in Buffalo. What are you going to do and how are you going to react? Will this be and let's just be real. They did that. They front loaded all that money to a 1-year contract for a reason. So you could be a free agent next year. That way, if you come in here acting a fool, they can get your behind up out of there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that for a reason. So, like we say down south, there's a reason for everything. So the thing is this: if you come in and you don't have that continuity and you start complaining again, much like you did in Minnesota, much like you did in Buffalo. If you start complaining because this team has every intangible opportunity to go to a Super Bowl this year. I mean, they're doing what your team did a couple of years ago, Kenny, with the Los Angeles Rams. They're literally going for it all. They're literally saying F them picks and going for it all.
Yep.
Because right now, the Houston Texans, although they have 8 draft picks, they don't have no picks in the first round at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So they have basically went for it all. They're basically going for it all and saying, okay, CJ Stroud, we're seeing what you can do. This is what we're going to give you. We're going to give you another weapon. But the thing is, how are you going to react at this point in time? Because this is all on you, Stephon Diggs. There's no more.
There's no more excuses.
Yeah. First you was complaining about it. First you was complaining in Minnesota. They got you up out of there and they upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen if Buffalo goes out and, let's say, get Brandon Thomas or Malik Neighbors or Rome from the University of Washington, and they come out there and put up 1,500 yards to make it to the AFC Championship? Now you have to face them in the AFC Championship, and you lose, and you start crying. Then what is that going to say about you?
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to be able to get another contract at this point in time?
Yep.
Because you go out there and you lay an egg out here with this great Houston team, then guess what? The verdict's out on you. You saw what happened to T.O. towards the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be your fate?
Yeah. I will agree to that too. I feel like this is all on Diggs. You wanted out of Buffalo like this. I've been saying this for 2 years. Diggs wants to leave Buffalo. Like, you can literally show the signs. He unfollowed the Bills off Instagram. He's been acting weird towards Josh Allen. So I was trying to tell y'all for years he's been wanting to leave like the Bills. Like, it wasn't that hard to realize he wanted to leave. It was just the matter of time when he was going to leave. So now that you went out of Buffalo and now that the Bills didn't succeed, this is on you, bro. Like, no more crying about you getting open, this, then, the third, or you not getting the ball enough. Like, bro, no. Like, you have to mature, be a professional, and actually recognize what you have. Literally, you have a top 10 running back in the game. You have one of the best coaches in the game. And then you're playing with an elite receiver. You have Tank Dell and what's the dude's name? Nico Collins?
Nico Collins. Yeah. Hey, man, shout out to Trent for letting us know about Tank Dell, number one. Because he was telling us about that before he was even drafted. Shout out to Big Trent, man. Hey, one of the great football minds in the pod. My thing is, backing you up, Kenny, man, you have, and don't forget about John Mechie, because he wasn't no choke when he played for Alabama. Yeah. So you have, and my thing is, you're not going to have to be force targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Buffalo, they had to force the ball to you, not only to keep you happy, quote unquote, but to also, because Gabe Davis wasn't it. A lot of the other receivers was not it. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, they had to force feed you the ball. So now that they don't have to do that, and now you have other guys that you can rely on, what is this really about? What is it really about? It's a telltale sign. What is it really about? Is it about you getting the ball, or is it truly about the emotion that you showed when you lost against the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of years ago? Is it about you winning, or is it about you getting the ball? Because are you trying to be a TO, Another TO that ends up out of the league early because you just couldn't get along with the quarterbacks that you were playing with, or you're trying to be like other players who have succeeded with every quarterback that they've played with and won a Super Bowl. Because this is people are talking about Josh Allen. I don't think enough is being said about Stephon Diggs. Because Josh Allen made the playoffs without Stephon Diggs. People don't want to talk about that though. Granted, he was out there running for his life like a scalded dog, but guess what? He still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this is not about Josh Allen. This is about Stephon Diggs because hey, for every last one of you know football. Hey, wide receiver, whether people want to admit it or not, is a very, very flash in the pan position. We've seen many wide receivers come and go. For every Chris Carter, for every Antonio Brown, for every DeAndre Hopkins, we've seen dudes who have two or three great years and then they're gone after that. So you're easily replaceable as a wide receiver, believe it or not.
I will say this one last thing about this. If you turn out to be mid for the Tech, I'm not gonna say this, but I just feel like if he's having the same problems how he was in Buffalo, I think we need to bump his rating down. I think he should be out of the top 5 category of being a top 5 wide receiver, and we need to move somebody up. I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. I don't know. I don't know.
Again, you saw what happened when you left Minnesota. They upgraded because Justin Jefferson, he's way better than Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what's going to happen if, let's say, they go get Brandon Thomas from LSU, the Buffalo Bills do, and he has a great season, and they make it to the NFC Championship, and they quietly make it to an AFC Championship? What's going to happen then? And you over here, and although the Houston Texans are winning at a certain point, you over here pouting. What's going to happen then? Because everybody's trying to put Josh Allen in prison behind, offensive bars at this point. But we're not talking about this is the second team you've been traded from because you've been complaining. It's not an issue of talent. You've been complaining.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, put your pride to the side.
Yeah.
You know this. Go ahead, Maria.
I didn't know all. I knew that Stephon Diggs was disgruntled. He was kind of upset with the way everything was going over there with the Buffalo Bills and the quarterback. And now he's joining a team, which I'm obviously excited for because I'm a CJ Stroud fan. And it's like last year, CJ Stroud was able to go pretty. Was able to do things that we didn't expect him to do in his rookie year. With a player that's probably not, I'm assuming not on a Stephon Diggs level. So now that he's getting Stephon Diggs, and then y'all talk about the other pieces and praise them, it's weird. Like Stephon Diggs has kind of put himself in a weird situation. That's what I'm getting from what Undisputed you're saying. So I really want to see how this is because a lot of the slack was on Josh Allen to see how he would do without Stephon Diggs. But we got to see what Stephon Diggs will now do without Josh Allen, and it's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be watching him closely too. TK, do you have any words on the Stephon Diggs situation? We all gonna be watching him closely.
H-Town, stand up. Oh, we finna have an offensive field day on these motherfuckers. I'm not listening. Before I even say anything, I'm not even a Houston fan. Okay.
Hey man, hop on the bandwagon, bro.
I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm unfortunately a Giants fan. I've been currently looking for a new team, and ain't no place like home. Quite honestly, with you. I'm just waiting on them new Stephon Diggs jerseys to come out. I don't know about y'all, but
hey man, just take your talent to Houston, bro. It's all good.
You feel me? Houston, everybody got a problem, but today we definitely. I'm gonna be real. I didn't expect him to go to Houston, but to be real, with a young quarterback like CJ Stroud,
man.
But I ain't gonna lie, Stephon, don't come to Houston bullshitting, cause we gonna crucify you. The state of Texas gonna crucify you.
They are a toxic city when it comes to football.
We toxic. We don't let nothing go. Okay, you see how we treated D Hop. You feel what I'm saying? We love him. You know what I'm saying? If he was to come back, we would greet him with welcome arms and everything else. But don't come to Houston on that bullshit. Come ball out, which I know you're gonna do. But I also feel like with that offense, it'll take everybody will be focused on Diggs, and it'll give more openings to Tank Dell. Because as much as we want to talk about Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell a monster too, and we saw what he was able to do for the little time that he did for his first season as well. So don't sleep on that receiving core. That's receiver score, not nothing to sleep on. And not even only that, the Houston Texans has a decent, not even decent, a solid defense behind them. As far as the secondary, as far as the linebacker, as far as the D line, they have a great defense. So honestly, I'm excited. And then we got draft day in a few weeks or a day or whatever draft day is. I can't wait to see who we pick up in the draft. Honestly, does anybody know what Houston has on the picks?
They have two
Anybody?
second round picks, 2 thirds, and a
Okay.
fourth. They don't have any day
Okay.
one picks on the first round.
Okay.
But
So
you
so
from,
even then, you said
He's
what?
from Austin. He's from
you from
Austin.
I'm
Houston?
from Austin. I'm from Austin.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Hey, do you think that this team has the potential to be better than the run and shoot offense with Warren Moon?
Oh shit.
Yeah, he said, oh, shit.
No, I'm just asking because, I mean, remember that receiving core. Ernest Givens, Christopher Duncan,
Okay.
Drew Hill.
Okay.
I mean, do you
I ain't
think
gonna
that this?
lie. This is a very talented receiving core.
Yeah,
Very talented and young receiving core as well.
yeah.
Like I don't like Tank Dell, just him being his second year. And honestly, I would just take it as an impression as I'm not trying to fight for the first spot or the X or the Z. No, if I'm Tank Dell, I'm getting I'm having Stephon Diggs take me under his wing, if that makes sense. Like I'm learning from the best. If Tank Dell
Mhm.
has the potential of being one of the best receivers, you feel what I'm saying? Along with a lot of these players like Garrett Wilson and everybody else. So if I'm Tank Dell, I'm learning from the best. And I feel like he is going to give him pointers and everything else. And I think that's the main point that he was brought to Houston to help the young Tank Dell out and any other receivers as well that I'm missing because they need a championship. They need one. Houston don't have a championship. And if they was to bring a championship to the city of Houston, it would do a lot.
I
So
mean,
because we
they
know
don't have a
because
championship
we
in
know
football.
Dallas ain't gonna get it done. So I mean,
Yeah,
Hey, they don't have
yeah.
a championship in football, man. We saw them win the World Series. We saw them win
The
Clutch City
NBA
back.
it's
Finals.
time. It's time to listen. I'm gonna be real. Houston is getting compared to like Atlanta as far as the Black Hollywood and everything else. You imagine it's the Super Bowl, they win. You got a black quarterback, a black receiving core, and y'all just brought in Stephon Diggs. You know what that would do? Not only for the city of Houston, but for Texas in general, because Jerry Jones ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. So Houston got to pull some strings to make sure they. Because I'm gonna be real, Houston the best team in Texas. I said it. I
Yeah.
said it.
I mean, that ain't crazy. That ain't
That
I
ain't
crazy.
said it.
crazy right
A lot
about
of
now,
people would
considering
disagree.
ownership.
A lot of people would disagree, but I'm
Dallas
just nah,
Nah, nah,
no.
nah. I ain't gonna lie.
Mavericks.
Nah.
Mario, I'm gonna be honest.
Mavericks.
Oh, the Mavericks.
No, football,
Mavericks.
football.
Okay,
I'm talking about
football.
Okay.
football,
Okay.
football. Let's be for real. Like Jerry Jones had the entire offseason to pick up somebody, and you got nothing. The only person you got rid of was Tony Pollard. Um, and you might now. With that being said, are you gonna start Deuce Vaughn? And Deuce Vaughn came from my city. He's from Round Rock, Texas. Um, and he was a good running back in high school, good running back in college as well. If y'all don't know who Deuce Vaughn is, go look him up. He was at Kansas State. But with that being said, I feel like even though they talk about his size a lot and they try to give him that small running back role, I feel like short running backs are starting to become the new thing in the league, and they need to stop sleeping on him as well. Honestly, they
Shout
need.
out Tony Pollard. Sorry.
Shout out to him.
From
Tony
Memphis.
Pollard, nice. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But now that you ain't got him, it's time to go ahead and get the young running back shine real quick.
It's
He
facts.
ain't got no excuse.
Hey, Houston winning an NFL. Hey man, Houston winning a championship in football. When you know it, hey, you from Texas, so you know it's all about that pig skin out there. I mean,
Listen,
man, y'all got man. I'm gonna just be real.
Since I'm glad you say that. And Kenny, clip this because this gonna start a lot of stuff. I've been seeing a lot of things lately where I've been seeing a lot of things lately that's saying, oh, they be talking about high school football and all of that. Let me tell you something. High school football, Texas football is high school football. What I mean by that is there's no other states. I don't care if you're from Florida, California, Louisiana, whatever. There's no other states that can compete with Texas football. And it's just that simple. Argue with your mama. I don't care what nobody has to say.
I'm from Georgia, and I'll have to agree with that. I gotta agree with that.
And Georgia's one of those schools. Listen, these are my four. I have, other than Texas, I have Georgia, Florida, California, and Louisiana with being the top football states.
But
I'm sorry.
I've seen something in Texas that I've never seen before when I went out there, when I was stationed out there. I saw $1 million stadiums at high schools.
It's a real thing.
And I didn't see that in no other school I've ever been in Georgia did I ever seen a $1 million. It looks like a football. It looks like a professional football league.
I will say this: if my kids end up playing football, I will be moving to Texas.
Listen, I'm going to let you know right now. Y'all talk about that stadium. The atmosphere of Texas football is like no other. It's like no other. I'm not gonna sit there and if you know me by now, I'm very honest. Okay, I didn't get to play my senior year, not because of COVID. It's just because there was people ahead of me, and whether I was good enough or not, I just did not play. I had to ride the bench, and it's okay. You feel what I'm saying? But I still played a little bit of post grad football or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? But I will tell you this. Like the atmosphere of Friday Night Lights is like no other. It's like no other, bro. You seeing all these like different people around the stadium. That's a real thing, bro. It's a real thing. But I will say this: Florida football, though, I've heard about them, bro. They bring the same energy.
Yeah, they do.
As far as anything.
Hey, two teams that introduced me to Texas football. I got to give them a shout out: Permian and Dallas Carter. I mean, watching those two teams doing the background checks, seeing the players that they put not only in the NFL, but the players that came from that team, Jesse Armstead. People don't realize, man, Roy Williams with the Permian, the wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. He with the Permian. Scott Case with the Permian. A lot of NFL players with the Permian. I mean, Dallas Carter, the great Jesse Armstead. So those two schools alone, that from watching the movie Friday Night Lights, hooked me to how Texas football was. Not to mention, man, one of the greatest running backs of all time. If you want to be a running back, man, people can talk about whatever state you are from, but if you want to be a running back and you come out of Texas, I mean, look at Eric Dickerson.
Come on now.
Look at Eric Dickerson.
Come on now.
Look at Ricky Williams. Look at Sean Mitchell. Look at Priest Holmes. I mean, just to name a few. People talk about my state being running back but Texas. I mean, you named the running back, Earl Campbell. I mean,
Jamal Charles.
I mean, you named the running back. They came from Texas. So I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due.
I'm gonna say another hot take. I think we QBU.
Say your last takes.
I think Texas is QBU. If I'm gonna be real.
You heard me, TK?
Huh?
We QBU.
I said say what y'all gotta say because we gotta get ready to end the show.
Nah.
TK.
Go ahead.
No, you go. What was your take?
Yeah. My take it. You say we running back you. I think we QB you. Honestly,
What state is QBU?
Texas.
Texas.
Okay.
Texas is QBU.
Isn't CJ Stroud? No, he's from California.
You know, he from Rancho Cucamonga. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that place was real.
We had think about. I want us to let's literally
Know that
look.
either.
Let's really sit there and think about it for a second. We have RG3, Vince Young, Johnny Manziel, Matthew Stafford, uh, uh, um, Baker Mayfield from my city, Austin, Texas.
Matthew
We also
Stafford from
have
Texas?
who? Baker Mayfield? Yes,
No, Matthew
Matthew
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah, he went to school in Texas. Look it up.
Well, that's
Matt,
crazy.
we also have Kyler Murray.
No, yeah, I know he's from Texas.
That's just the few that I'm naming. That's just the few.
Hey, this motherfucking place looks beautiful. Hold on, man. So
Not only that, we had Nick Foles, I think, and we had Drew Brees. Like, what are we really talking about, bro?
I
Like,
mean,
bro,
I still think y'all have to compete with Pittsburgh on that one because you know they put out the two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time,
Joe
and
Montana.
Jim Kelly and Dan Marino and some of the other guys like that.
Majority of ours are Heisman winners. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Majority of ours are Heisman winners and state championships. Some of them quarterbacks never lost a high school game until they got to the colleges and the pros. But I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right, then I give you credit where credit is due. Hell of a job.
Okay.
And man,
So before we end the show,
I just will be saying this: if my kids play football, I will be taking my talents to Texas with them.
Please do. I'll probably be a coach one day.
Yep, for sure. Go ahead, Maria.
so do you still want them to give a take that we usually do?
Go ahead, champ.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have a take. I'm just gonna be very, very honest. Thank you guys for letting me be on your show. I appreciate it. And hey, hot take, Maria. Hey, Kenny, you know you're like a brother to me. Maria, you know you're like a sister to me. Like what you guys are doing. Keep doing a hell of a job. And hey, man, I'm grateful to be on you guys' show. As y'all know, I'm all over the place, and I barely get a chance to come on you guys' show. But I'm grateful to be on your show. It's an honor to be here, bro.
Yep, we're trying to get more, more women into,
Yeah.
sports media, sports world, and that's what we're trying to push. Trying to push me and Maria. Probably get our podcast out there,
Yeah.
and try to get this podcast as big as possible. And actually succeed off it. TK.
Hey, we got a lot of pod. They need to. We need to do a documentary on the pod. I mean, that's a documentary, right? I'm gonna do that one day. That's a documentary. Some of the best podcasts you ever want to see. The throwdown. What's the word? Flag on the play. Hell, you got PSP. Some of the. I mean, you got some talent in that chat room, man.
No, it's gonna be called Podcast Evolution.
Yeah.
Right.
TK, do you have a take?
I really don't have really much to say as far as a hot take. I don't want to make this about me when I say this. Again, I'm just blessed to be here. On Monday, I had got into a car accident, and it put a perspective. Yeah, I didn't. Some people may know, some people may don't not know. I was in an Uber driver, and we had got into a car accident. And honestly, it just made me have a big perspective in life that it can't be taken away. I'm just blessed to be here and able to be on this podcast, honestly, because I was supposed to have one on this past Sunday, but I held it off. And Monday, I just had a reflection time of myself for these last few days. And
I can relate.
I have more motivation than ever now. I'm gonna keep doing my thing, what I'm doing on TikTok, keep posting every single day on TikTok until I'm able to help myself out and my situation out. That's my goal. That's my only goal, and anything else. And I think from a year or so from now, I'm going to be one of the top streamers. That's my goal. So, and that's how I'm gonna be able to do. And eventually, I'm going to bring everybody up with me that has helped me get to that point. As far as this NT's and everybody else's podcast as well. So that's my goal right now, to be the best version of myself.
That's what's up, TK.
And man,
Kenny, do you
I
have any
heard,
words?
and man, I related to the whole car accident stuff. It made me, you know, reflect a lot of things. So I always told myself if I ever get to the point where I am successful, I, you know, I want to put my guys on. So now that's just always been a dream come true for me. You know, paying people that actually deserve to be paid, and that's just always been a goal of mine. Because I was always taught as a kid, always support the people that support you. And
Right.
always be there for the people that's been there for you the most. And yeah, but anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of What's the Word podcast with your hosts Kenny Dior and Mario Knows Best, with Funk in the building and my boy TK, and
Yes,
we're
sir.
out. Peace. I'll see you guys Sunday.
I'll see y'all later, man.